this week. I haven't used these cards in a while. And then over on the member side of the channel, I'm going to be using this geode for the crystal scrying. If that interests you, you are cordially invited, but your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes. So this week, I am going to use my peppermint. I had put some other stuff in here too. I put camphor in here, dissolved it in here. I think I must have also put some anise or other herbs because I think when I originally bought it, it was clear because it's hand sanitizer. But peppermint is a very useful herb that you can use. And it's a lovely space clearing spray. So let's get started with the sign of Cancer. And Cancer, if you would, just relax and set your intention for the reading and allow any thoughts that you're having about that situation to rise up to the forefront of your mind and just let it sit there. We did have the Four of Wands jump out. Four of Wands can be a card of wish fulfillment. It is a card of happily ever after, but knowing that there's a sequel on the way. Now, Cancer, if anything related to what you've come here for today is stressing you out, gently breathe through that energy. As you inhale, draw in the divine white light of Source. You can draw in Source energy using any imagery, though, that resonates with you. And then as you exhale, just release anything that's no longer serving you. Allow it to return to Source. It will be transmuted. Okay. And I will write down the timestamp here. Right at 6 minutes. Okay. So Cancer, Here in the past, we have the Knight of Swords. This card is showing up in the reverse, but it could be reversed because this energy has left your life. The Knight of Swords is kind of a binary discernment energy. This can represent a person, possibly an air sign. More importantly, it represents a situation in which there was a clearing, a cutting away. This could have been good, it could have been bad. Again, the card is in the reverse and in the past. So the reversal isn't necessarily giving us much more information about that, but it can relate to court decisions as well, things that are right and wrong. Matters of social justice, somebody thinking that they are strongly in the right. Now, this being in the past and in the reverse, if that was you, Cancer, and your energy, you are leaving that behind. If that was another person in your life, perhaps they have moved on. Perhaps there was a conflict between you regarding an opinion like that, and it led to your parting of ways. That doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Here in the current situation, Cancer, as I mentioned, we have that Four of Wands that jumped out, and we have the Queen of Pentacles, so fertile proliferation of resources. And that is against the backdrop of this happily ever after, a fortuitous time in your life, Cancer. And we do have the Empress showing up in the future position, so that is bringing that Queen of Pentacles type energy into the future. They have a very similar energy, but I'll talk more about that in a minute. Down here in the Imam Sili. So the Imam Sili is down below the place of the significator, and it represents the origins and foundations upon which the midheaven, the goal or destiny, will be built, which is above the significator. The significator is right at the center of the reading and represents you, the querent. So down in the Imam Sili, you were thinking about walking away from something, but it looks like you won't be. It looks like you've decided to stay because the card is showing up in the reverse here. Oh, excuse me. Perhaps there was a change in circumstances that led to you being able to stay. Here, from your perspective, we have the Page of Swords. This card is reversed. And the Page of Swords reversed here can represent misinformation, false news, or possibly spying. So it is possible that you are perusing someone else's social media to try to find out more about them, eavesdropping on conversations. It's also possible that the information that you have been getting is not factual about a certain situation. And remember, we have that Knight of Swords in the reverse in the past. So it could be about this situation, especially if this was somebody who left your life. Looks like they're in a hurry. Or if it was someone with whom you parted ways because of ideological differences. There could have been misinformation involved in that situation that led to your parting ways. Over here, from an outside person's perspective on the situation, we have the Five of Swords, and this card is also reversed. Now, this is an excellent position to get this card reversed. It shows that there is no open animosity towards you from outside sources, that any animosity that had been, or conflict, this would be very active conflict, like combative conflict, not just the kind of difference of opinion you might see with the Three of Swords, or arguments or breakups. This would be leaving behind turmoil and strife on a larger scale than that. And because it's from an outside perspective looking in, people see that you're no longer fighting. Here in the future, as I mentioned, we have the beautiful Empress showing up in the future. And I also mentioned that the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles have a very similar energy when it comes to that proliferation of resources. The Empress, of course, associated with the planet Venus, which encompasses Taurus and Libra. Friday is the day of Venus. It is an excellent day to do love magic, but it is also an excellent day to do money magic. Jupiterian energy is good, solar energy, but also Venus energy. It's wonderful for proliferation of financial resources. There could also be elements of Taurus energy showing up here, because Taurus being an earth sign, like the Queen of Pentacles, and also associated with the Empress card, you could be working with a Taurus, or it could just be Taurian energy of some kind coming through. That financial stability, second house, also tied in with Taurian energies. And depending on where Taurus is in your chart, you may want to look at what house is the home of Taurus in your own birth chart, and see what area that governs. So here we're going to look at your hopes and fears. And it looks like here in your hopes and fears, you're hoping for generational wealth, the potential to leave a legacy behind. I do see great potential for that here. The final two cards in your reading, we have two very big major arcana cards. We have had a good smattering of major arcana cards in your reading this week, Cancer. Not too many and not too few. So in the midheaven, we have the Death card. And then the final outcome, we have the Wheel of Fortune. And I'm going to deal with these two cards kind of simultaneously because I feel like their meanings in this context are very similar. So even though you decided not to walk away or leave something, you are still headed towards this transformation. And with that transformation is going to come in a change of fortune, potentially for the better. The Wheel of Fortune is similar to the World card, strangely enough. We have this fixed sign energy showing that even though cycles continually move, they are constant in their motion. Wheel of Fortune is similar to the eighth house in some ways because the eighth house is the point of changeover in cycles, that transformative energy. So we have that scorpionic energy, that eighth house energy showing up with the death card here and being reinforced by this Wheel of Fortune card. So you have a big change coming in, Cancer. And it looks like it's going to be a good change. And it's reinforced by some very good financial energy. So that is going to conclude the Cancer reading for this week. Now I'm going to move on to the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio, Scorpio, Scorpio. All right, Scorpio. So go ahead and set your intention and just allow any thoughts associated with that situation to rise up to the forefront of your mind and wait there patiently while I shuffle the cards. And if this is something that's causing you stress or internal struggle, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. As you inhale, you can draw in source energy in whatever form is most organic to you. And then as you exhale, just release any of that energy. It's no longer serving you. Any of that tension, that strife, even physical discomfort. Just allow it to return to source and it will be transmuted. Okay. So, let me write down the timestamp for the reading. Okay. And we can begin here in the past. Now, first of all, Scorpio, I want to point out that we have not one but two of your fellow fixed sign Leo's cards showing up in the reading. So it's possible that you have Leo placements or that you are dealing with Leo energies. Again, look at where Leo is in your houses. And that might be topical to you over the week ahead. You could be dealing with a Leo. Here in the past, we have the Sun card and it's in the upright, which means that not only did everything start going really well in the past, but that energy is continuing into the current situation. So it looks like the stage is set for you, Scorpio, to have a lot of success come into your life at this time. Here in the current situation, we have the Ten of Wands showing up in the reverse, and that is going to be crossed by the Strength card. So where we have this Ten of Wands reversed, that cycle is ending, and you are casting off all of these burdens and all this oppression. And that is with the aid of your strength. So, strength here doesn't just mean physical strength, although it can be. It can be fortitude, it can be endurance, but it can also have to do with your powers of persuasion and even using a little bit of magic to persuade, if that is something you're comfortable doing. So, part of that casting off of burdens might be using a little Van oil, all of the tools at your disposal, persuading others to help you with something. All of these things qualify as the realm of the strength card. So down here in the Imam Sili, and the Imam Sili is down here underneath the place of the significator, which is at the center of the reading. Oh, thank you, Jason. And thank you for coming. It's very good to see you today. Down in the Imam Sili, this is going to be the foundation of the goal or destiny that we're going to look at when we look at the midheaven. We have the King of Wands in reverse. So another card that could be associated with fire sign energy. And what we have here is somebody who's showing up in their shadow self. This could be a Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries energy. Not necessarily the case. The King of Wands, when they're reversed like this, can be somebody who is prone to impulsive outbursts, whether that's anger or just being very impulsive. The King of Wands in the reverse could also be somebody who doesn't want to settle down in a relationship. So if you're coming here for a love reading, that would be one of the aspects of that card that you could see as part of a romantic reading. Here, from your perspective, we have the Hierophant card. So the Hierophant card can be marriage. It can be that you're dealing with somebody who's got cold feet and doesn't want to be married. But I see that working out to your benefit, honestly, if that's what you want to find out about in the reading. If that's not what you want to know about, the Hierophant card also represents spiritual leadership. It is your fellow fixed sign Taurus's card in the major arcana. So now we've got Leo showing up very strongly, and we also have the fixed energy of Taurus showing up. So there's a lot of fixed situations, a lot of very solid foundations possibly, or things that are not prone to changing. And I don't see a lot of cards related to change the way I did in the Cancer reading. So the Hierophant can also be showing spiritual fortitude in the face of someone acting overly impulsively. And the Hierophant can also be like social etiquette, can be like the status quo. Again, fixed sign energy. So these things that are not prone to change. Oh, hi, Victoria. Thank you for coming. I'm a Leo sun sign. Thank you for asking. So you might be dealing with somebody who's a bit impulsive, and you're combating that by backing into traditional roles of some kind. Here, from an outside person's perspective, we have the Page of Pentacles. So that could be a job offer, potentially. The Page of Pentacles can also be, it's earth of earth energy. Can be kind of like an immature energy. Could also be like a worker bee kind of energy. So you might be in a very volatile work situation with this King of Wands in the reverse. And they kind of just see you as a pawn that they can push around however is convenient for them. And you're coming through with, well, actually, I have much, much more to offer. Because nothing against the Page of Pentacles, but it is kind of an immature energy, earth of earth energy, minor arcana, as compared to the Hierophant. Now, another thing this could mean is that in the midst of a lot of people acting impulsively, you are getting a job offer because you are being perceived as being very stable. So that's also a possibility. Here in the future for you, Scorpio, we have the Three of Pentacles reversed. You could be getting the opportunity to work with a group that you don't perceive yet. This can also be about your professional reputation developing. So because it's in the reverse in the future, this can be something that takes time to develop, and then eventually when you get there, by the time you get there, it's upright. So that's possible. And that would have to do with this Page of Pentacles energy a bit also. That that it's going to take a little bit of time for this work situation or new money situation to unfold and develop. Because again, the Page of Pentacles is primarily an employee type energy, but this is a general reading, and I know a lot of you are not in the workforce for whatever reason, too young, too old. It can represent passive income. It can represent an opportunity for investment, things like that. That's going to be paying off somewhat for you in the future. Here in your hopes and fears, we have the Two of Wands, and this card is showing up in the reverse. You might be afraid that there's not enough planning being put into a situation. And because this is counter to the Hierophant card, I see that you're craving stability at this time, Scorpio. And part of that being that planning process. And especially if we have, we have a lot of wands actually. We have 3 wands in your reading this week, and they're all reversed, which is kind of a chaotic energy. That can be a fire burning out of control. As a water sign and as a Scorpio, I'm sure that you're more than capable of putting that fire out. But for the time being, I can see that it's probably a little bit hectic and that you are craving some form of stability. Here in the midheaven, so this is going to be the result of this kind of chaotic period or impulsive things going on around you. This could be a person in particular who's impulsive or is prone to anger, or somebody who doesn't want to settle down. But the result of that is going to be finding a balance. So for you yourself, Scorpio, balance will be achieved out of this chaotic situation. I think a lot of it does have to do with you casting off these burdens in the current situation and things that just aren't your business, things that you don't need to preside over. You're going to be letting them go. Excuse me. Here in the final outcome, we have an excellent card. Really good energy to close this reading, which is the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords is a card about forcing positive change in your own life. Not necessarily forcing, but that you are the agent of the transformation. So whereas with the Tower card, for example, that change is being imposed on you. With the Ace of Swords, you, Scorpio, are the one who is making the changes, and you have a lot more control over the situation. And that actually is counter to this position where we have the Page of Pentacles. So that's very interesting that we have you making these changes, even if you are being perceived as being expendable or interchangeable with others or anything like that. Can also be you putting yourself out there so that you can get new financial opportunities. Thank you for coming. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is going to conclude the Scorpio reading for this week. So finally, I'm going to move on to the Pisces reading. And these are going to be a little bit shorter this week, I guess. We'll see what happens with the rest of the signs over the course of this week, if the readings creep up in time again. Oh, of course, Sailor Loon, and thank you for coming. It's very good to see you. So now I'm going to move on to the sign of Pisces. And Pisces, if you would, just go ahead and set your intention and allow any associated thoughts and feelings to rise up to the forefront of your mind. And just wait there patiently while I shuffle the cards. And if any of these things are causing you stress or discomfort, Pisces, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. And as you inhale, draw in source energy in whatever form is most intuitive to you. Allow it to permeate every cell and every molecule of your body so it can push out any of those negative feelings or trauma or discomfort. And then as you exhale, just release all of that back to source, and it will be transmuted. Interesting. That makes sense. Ooh. Major Arcana cards coming out for you, Pisces. It looks like there's a lot of excitement for you this week. So let me write down your timestamp. get into your reading. So here in the past for you, Pisces, we have the Six of Swords, and it is in the upright, which shows me that you have either relocated recently, or maybe you're on a trip right now, or that you could be traveling a lot at this time, possibly traveling for work. Here in the current situation, we have the Four of Swords in the reverse. And you guys know that I call this the nap time card. But unfortunately, it's coming out in the reverse in the current situation for you Pisces. So I'm afraid that nap time is over. Looks like you are not getting very much rest in the current environment. And the crossing card for the current situation is the Tower. So we do have that Mars energy coming in to create destructive change and the fertile ground upon which new things can be created. So that's the key to the Tower, is it might look like everything's crumbling around you, but really it's pushing you closer, Pisces, to where you're actually supposed to be. So you just have to trust the process on that. Down here in the EF, that is going to be the foundations of the goal or destiny. It's all the origin and foundational energy for what will happen in the midheaven, where we look at the goal or destiny. And the card that we have there is the World card. And here on the World card, we have all these fixed signs represented. This is a card of finality, closure, completion, most importantly. It is Saturnian energy and it is Earth elemental energy. And it closes out the Fool's journey through the major arcana. So there's a lot of big endings right now here for you Pisces, and I can see that because our crossing card is this major arcana card about endings, and down here in the Imam Sili, our foundational card is a strong establishment, but also a closure and a completion. Over here, from your perspective, we have the Five of Wands. And this card is showing in the upright. So the Five of Wands has to do with rivalry. There's a certain amount of combat associated with it, but it's not warfare. If you see, all of these combatants are pretty much the same level. They're training against each other for when they will have to fight a real enemy together. And that is the environment in which you find yourself currently, Pisces. From an outside perspective looking in, we have the Knight of Cups, and this card is upright. Now, this could be you in the reading, Pisces. This is fire of water energy. The Knight of Cups is all about trusting your intuition, trusting your heart and your gut over your brain sometimes. But also, can represent somebody rushing in with a partnership, with love, and that can be romantic love, it can be unconditional love, it can be friendship type love. It doesn't just have to be like a love relationship rushing in towards you. People could also see that you, as the Knight of Cups, are very free to offer your love and support to others. In the midst of this type of situation where there's a lot of rivalry and possibly a little bit of backstabbing and things like that. Although this is really more about, like I said, everybody training up together because we might have to fight a common enemy at some point. Here in the future, Pisces, we have fellow water sign Cancer's card coming out. It is coming out in the reverse, but in the future, it could mean that this Chariot is coming in for you. We have a lot of mobility showing up in your reading. So we've got the Six of Swords in the upright in the past, which means this is still current energy. We have this Knight of Cups here. We do have the Six of Wands. I haven't gotten to that yet, but I'll show you because it emphasizes my point. And we have the Chariot card. And of course, the Chariot is mobility and victory. And in fact, is reinforced by this Six of Wands. But like I said, I don't want to get ahead of myself. So here in your hopes and fears, Pisces, we have the Three of Cups. And this card is in the upright. And I think that you, showing up as the Knight of Cups, you crave this close emotional bonding with others. And that might be part of this dynamic for you. And the reason why you have sought this out, or the reason why you remain in this type of situation, is because you really crave that close emotional bond with others, right? And that would make sense for a Piscean energy. Here in the midheaven, we do have that Six of Wands, and that is coming in with this completion. So with the completion comes in a victory and mobility, and possibly a bit of rest, because you can see that this figure is literally resting on its laurels. So a celebration will be in order at that time. And the final card for you this week, Pisces, we have the Four of Pentacles. This is about conservation of your resources. So this can be saving money, but it can also be your time, your energy. And in this particular case, I see this Four of Pentacles as kind of like your advice card in the final outcome position. That it's advising you to hold on a little more tightly to your emotional energy around other people, because not everybody deserves it or needs it. Additionally, the other four that we had in the reading, remember, was the nap time card in the reverse. And so it's important for you at this time to hold on to your energy and conserve it, because you're not getting a lot of chances to replenish it. And that is your advice for this week, Pisces. So thank you, everyone, for showing up in the live stream, for watching the video later. The timestamps are always going to be down in the description after the live stream is concluded. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your channel subscriptions. I'm going to go now over to the members side of the channel to do some crystal scrying with this beautiful geode. If that interests you, you're cordially invited. But your presence here on the channel is greatly